fourth running of the Inglemire 10-mile road race. This has gathered in momentum as has it gathered in talent. The race was won last year by Roy Bailey in 50 minutes 39 with that unforgettable style. The second place going to Jim Dingwall. And so far I haven't seen any of the favourites for the title. So as we move through this very large field again, we can expect very good traffic control, as this is also known as the Police 10, for which there's a trophy for the first policeman home. And the Police 10 is on its way, and just at the front there I've seen Eric Seedhouse with his marine haircut. There's a mild westerly airflow blowing these runners along this straight flat piece of road, and you can be sure they'll be travelling at under 5 minutes a mile. It's difficult to make all the runners out, but I can see Carl Nightingale just edging towards the lead now. John Barker just behind. As Jim Dingwall has just been lost in the crowd at the moment. But these are early days, and this race will take a little while to settle down. So we're into a difficult filming position here, but I can tell you that Eric Seedhouse is now in front. Carl Nightingale's sharing the lead. Ian Greer's there. So many of the names that did well in the Ferriby 10 are already in this leading group. A nice close-up now, and you can see it's still Eric Seedhouse, and we've been running for 3.5 minutes, so well into the first mile now. And John Catch-a-Car Hood is on the inside. He's become famous now for putting dents out of cars, or nearly, but so far he's remained unscathed. Ian Greer, number 122 there, just in front of John. And 165 is Malcolm Patterson of Dark Peak Fell Runners, a Sheffield-based club. You see that Steve Rennie there, 030. He's well up, yellow shorts, purple vest. And a new club to me anyway, Omega. Suppose we better keep a watch out for them. It's a new club I haven't heard of before, but they've obviously got some good runners together. So as the runners go through, you can see there's a group of about 25. Gary Cross there, 277, he's well up, he'll be pleased. Jack Hill, 088. Remarkable runner. And Terry Davis just went through there, and Shane Page, of course. It's difficult not just to pick out the people you know best, because there's so many going through at once. But trying to make this a little more interesting. We have quite a lot of runners here. I see 354 just making a comeback, just coming into shot now is Bob Mahoney. He did just under the hour at Ferriby, so he'll be looking to improve on that. There's Eleanor Adams there, 2400. She appeared on the David Frost, the all gold medalist for the world record breakers for Guinness, and she was given a pride of place amongst 4 or 5 other worldwide achievements, not least for winning a challenge against Malcolm Campbell over a 1,000-mile race through Britain last year. So Glenn Hood then, 010, he's usually doing double marathons at the weekend or fell races or something else, but now he's just doing an ordinary 10-mile. And you can see that once again it's another record field. Weather conditions much better than last year when it was only 3 degrees centigrade. Today it's must be 8 or 9 with just a gentle westerly airflow. So this race shows no sign of diminishing. There has been some dropping off of figures in some of the races, but not so this one. Been very well publicised, and it's brought runners from quite a distance. I think up to 100 miles radius. There's many more ladies than used to run 10 miles. They've graduated from the women's own 10k runs. Found they've enjoyed that, and Omega Club have got 2 there in the first 3 runners. Carl Thackeray is there, 404, looks pretty good. And I'll give you a name check, just when I check it. In fact, there are 3 Omega runners there. This is certainly, I have to find out a bit more about this club, because I know absolutely nothing at the moment. That's Mike Batley, 404, of Wakefield and District. He's looking pretty cool, calm and collected. And Jim is looking pretty good today. I know he was rather disappointed with his Ferriby 10 run. And you can see John Barker is just drifting off the back now. He's been making 1 or 2 comeback races. Ran 53.04 in the Ferriby 10. And I know he was going for 52. And just in the back there you can see Eric Seedhouse. He's now dropped off along with Ian Greer, just in forming a little group behind there. But number 191 is leading now, and he's Simon D'Amico. Not a name I'm familiar with. And his club mate there, number 193, is Peter Yeomans. So they really seem to have the team tied up, because the other runner is also in the picture, is Colin Poulter. So not only do they have the team wrapped up, I would suggest, they're likely to figure very strongly in the first 3 or 4 runners as well. So the Omega racing team have clocked on, and they're ticking away the miles. And the only person I haven't mentioned in that group of 7 is Malcolm Peake, Dark Peak Fell runners. And as you watch the faces closely here, you can see that they're all having to put in quite a bit of work. It seems as though the leader there, D'Amico, of the Omega Racing Club is pressing on. The run's just passed the 4-mile marker and the leader went through in 1929, so it's quite a pace. You see the clock's still not on 20 minutes and they're well past 4 miles. And Jim there's at the back of the group now. I wonder how he's feeling. But Martin DeMarco is leading and he's pushing this pace. And one must wonder if he's going to be the winner. And a little dogleg extension of the race there, and things have happened. And you see Carl Nightingale has now gone with Simon DeMarco, and it's looking like a 2-man race. In the next group there is Jim Dingwall's in there, as is 2 of the other Omega race team, so they're still well up there. So it's 2 and then 5. And then the next 2 runners, Eric Seedhouse, who led early on, and John Barker. This is a difficult part of the course because they're hitting the westerly breeze, and I'm sure they'll be feeling it now, having run a hard 4 and a bit miles. David Jordan, yet another Omega racer, has just come through. And Grimsby runner there. And David Oldfield is in this group of Sheffield AC. He's promised me a good run next time we race against each other. Gary Cross and 277's running really well. And John Hood, number 034, won't be happy with his run. He would normally be better placed than this. .088, and John Matthews just goes through there. He's working hard today, and he'll find this hard run. It's Paul Marling there actually, who went through. He's a remarkable milkman who ran 55.30 in his very first 10-mile race. The fastest milkman in the West. There's a bunch of Doughty runners there. And the 75 was Wayne Wallace of Goole, probably their leading runner today. .357 just goes through. .357 is Mark Fleming. Shane Page there, the all singing and dancing Shane Page, is running today. I won't mention 035. A new runner to the scene, I believe. Terry Davis is in there, 360, Mike Baggett. 281, I think that's Gordon Kitchen. Rob Robinson. And just behind Rob, running a gutty race there, is Ray Cox, continuing on his comeback trail.
Should we make a move, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just drive slowly past it, Martin.
Stephen Sharman there of East Hull Harriers. These runners will all be expecting to get under the hour. Peter Rowland that was of Stainford. Peter Jarvis, of course, number 358. He looks good today. 139 there. Peter Hunsley. Gordon Kitchen's looking particularly good today, although he's still behind that redoubtable Alan Fowley, and that's Mike Baggett. Phil Doobie, of course, he's had his injury problems, but he seems to be running well now. The runners are actually on the wrong side of the road. This should be on the left-hand side. We've seen a few problems with this crossing of roads lately. So there's Alan Fowley. We will give him a name check now. So the runners seem to be making their way back left, but this crisscrossing of roads is what leads to safety problems. (168) Alan Tomlinson of Halton Price. And it's quite a cold breeze actually down this exposed straight here, and I'm sure it will be knocking some of the runners' expectations back. Next runner coming in shot is not a veteran, but he seems to be around forever, Trevor Shields. Been running against Trevor now for at least 15 years.
Come on, Trev.
Come on, Trev. He's isolated there, and you can see he's feeling that wind as we come in towards Cottingham, and that's Mike Jackson, looking very good. And there's Peter Rawnsley there of Sheffield. There's two Sheffield runners actually, 4:03 as well. And 4:03 is Adrian Riley. On here between Paul Marling and John Matthews. Now John Matthews got the better of Paul by about 30 or 40 seconds in the Ferriby 10. I wonder what the outcome will be today. Cockburn, of course. Gary Cross is having a great run. You see, he's one of these runners who gets back to form very quickly indeed. He's in front of John Hood, and John's, well, I think even by his own admission, having a bit of a stinker today. He's certainly making them call his tune, and you can see Ian Grew and Steve Rennie are struggling quite a lot there. And in that group also is number 286 from a Redcar runner. That's Brian Sargent of Grimsby, and in front of him another one of these Omega people. These two runners then, Eric Seedhouse and John Barker, two very good runners. 2:25 for the marathon for Eric, and John's run 2:22 a couple of times, maybe 3 times, and he's represented England. That's Malcolm Patterson, Jim Dingwall there. And the field has been led by Colin Poulter. They went through in 34.36, so they're well on course for a sub 50. And that's Simon DeMarco. And you can see the strain on both these runners' faces. That's an excellent shot of concentrated running. Just move on a bit.
Come on, get a roll, Martin.
Carl Nightingale is using all his experience. In fact, there's strain on both these runners' faces, and you can see in the background Mike Batley has just dropped off that group, so the following group is now down to 4. So as we turn down a nice easy piece of the course, there's now a side wind, so the running's easy now. So I would suggest that the course record will go today, providing these marks are in the right places. And you can see their facial expressions have changed. They're running down a slight slope, and there's a kick, and you can see it. Carl Nightingale has put in a kick. He sensed this is a chance to make a victory strike, and he's off, and there's been no response from Simon. He's pushing very hard. He knows his experience tells him that he's got to keep this up for at least a mile to make the win his. The Bourne and Hazel, of course, loves to come and run well in this area, and he's running well today. And you can see he doesn't know it, but Simon's thrown a towel in, and he may come under pressure from the next runners. So Carl Nightingale, 35 now, a 2:18:59 marathon runner. He's been running very well. Came 4th in the Ferriby 10, but today he's gone 3 places better than that. 3rd, should I say, in the Ferriby 10. Jim Dingwall has put himself into 3rd spot. He's used his track speed down this slope. In fact, the 2 fastest runners, track runners, have both made their pedigree count on this slope down. Jim, of course, has won many of the Cottingham 5-mile road races down this slope. Right, and coming round to South Street then, and you can see that Carl's maintained this kick. He's got a good, his marathon training should see him through, but Simon DeMarco's just possibly in touch. But Jim Dingwall's just come into South Street now. He can't win this race, but he can certainly be well pleased with his run, because he's going to be, well, I know he'd be dissatisfied anything outside 50, 51 and a bit. I suggest he's going to be within that. But you can see he's having another good go as Carl. He's gritting his teeth. He knows there's only one way to win races, and that's to make it hard for yourself and even harder for those behind. And he's increased his lead again, and he probably knows a bit more about Simon behind him. Maybe he's got a good kick, and he's trying to make sure he's got a good gap. There's some signs that Carl may be struggling a bit. He's made a very hard kick for the win, and Simon still, I know there's a bit of foreshortening with the camera zoom, but he seems to have stopped gaining, and he's got a cushion there, but it's quite a thin one, and this race may not be over yet. It seems as though Simon DeMarco is coming back at Carl. Carl will be feeling desperately tired now. And if Simon comes back at him, Carl has got to relax and let him do a bit of the work and let him come back to him. Because if he resists too hard, then he'll have nothing left to have another go. So, coming around that roundabout there, we're into about the last mile and a half now. And Simon DeMarco has definitely closed the lead, and he's in a position to attack. And you can see Carl's digging again. He's desperate to win this race, and he's really is giving it everything. So often Carl just fails to win races, especially in this area. But he's really giving it everything now. He's sucking in great gallons of air there, and Simon, still looks comfortable.
Who won at P?
Right, and you can see I'd hate to leave this race in this position because we have to in order to set up at the finish. And really, I wouldn't like to say who's going to win this. I hope Carl can do it, but Simon does look menacing just behind. Pull it into the last 3/4 of a mile, and you can see this is going to be a sprint finish. There's no question about it now. Simon is going to get on to Carl, and we wonder how much he's got left. We wonder if Carl can go again. He's certainly gambled for a fine time and a fine race. So whatever the outcome, in fact you can see Simon is now on Carl's shoulder, and well, this is going to be some finish to this race. Yeah, you're all right. Right, so coming into the finish then, you can see the clock is just coming up to 50 minutes. And who is it going to be leading? And it's Simon DeMarco of the Omega Racing Club. He's took over the lead, he hung in when it counted, and now he's coming through to a great win. It's a course record, and it's a great time of 50 minutes and 11 seconds. So he just did it there, and Carl Nightingale, who made this great bid for victory at 7 miles, has to be content with second place, but in a very fine 50 minutes 22. He tried his best there. And in the third place we have another Omega runner. We think it's Poulter. I've lost the master sheet now, and he's running an excellent time there. And Jim Dingwall's coming through to fourth place, 50.43, and Jim would be very pleased with this. 50 minutes for 47. Very good indeed. And the third Omega runner there absolutely wrapped up that team prize in fifth place. 3 and 5 just cannot be beaten.
Can you give the chance because you can't see the clock?
Yeah.
I'll put them on.
And so Mike Batley here of Wakefield, he's come through another excellent time, 51 minutes 12. And Malcolm Patterson of Dark Peak Fell Runners in 51.17, making up the first 7 places. And now we can expect quite a gap of at least 200 metres to the next runners in this field. And so that's a very exciting race, and the Omega Racing Club have come here, not very well known, but they will be well known after today with this remarkable performance. Eric Seedhouse has come through very strongly indeed, and he must have really rattled on those last few miles, because he's coming through and he's going to break 52 minutes, 51 minutes 58. for Eric Seedhouse. And then the fourth Omega runner there on a 194.52.04. And Paul Sargent there of Grimsby, 52.10. Some very good times today. John Barker will be pleased with this. 53 minutes in the Ferriby, and he's going to run 52 minutes 24. So we're well pleased with that. That was the sort of time we hoped for in the Ferriby time, in the Ferriby 10. Steve Rennie here. He's going to excellent run for Steve. 52, 40, 41. Steve Rennie then, he's improved his Ferriby time by a minute, 52.47. Ian Grew has also improved his Ferriby 10 time. All these runners were running into the 53s, but he's just going to be 53.01. And David Oldfield there is the first veteran in 53.05. He'll be well pleased with that.
Come on!
And the red car runner just finishing in 53.15. So John Hood, he must have come back a little bit because he's finished quite well. Still be disappointed, but he's finished quite reasonably, 53.28. And Gary Cross there on a great race, 53.32. I think he's took about 5 minutes off his Ferriby 10 time. Remarkable. Pete Rawnsley now then, followed by Paul Stockburn, followed by Paul Marling. This is remarkable. Paul Marling there is going to beat 54 minutes in only his second ever 10, 53.53. Remarkable running by the Milkman. Hornsey Harriers 350.54, and an excellent run here by John Matthews. John Matthews 54.09, yet another personal best. This has been a good day for times, a good day for fine performances. So this race will regather its reputation for fast times, having lost a bit of it last year. So John Matthews, in fact, most runners out today have improved on their Ferriby 10 times by anything up to a minute. In fact, in Jim Dingwall's case, a minute and a half. But he would put that down to having a bad run. It's Mike Jackson of Spartans, just behind the Grimsby runner there, and he's running another fine time, 55.05. So he took a considerable chunk off his Ferriby time. The breeze is not too bad, but it must have affected the runners on the exposed part of the course. So these are good times, considering. So we're well into the 20s and 30s now, and the times are still good, still under 56 minutes. Nats Holton Price, I reckon Nats Holton Price is very good time for Holton Price, could be their club record, under 56 minutes. So there's been a lot of runners there who will be very pleased with today. They've recovered some of their reputations, and Jim in particular wanted to be under 51, and he certainly did that in a very fine. And Alan Foley is coming through now, and he is also going to beat his Ferriby 10 time. 56.46. So that's another improvement. He'd be well pleased with that. He must have took the over 45 section. Hornsey Harriers beginning more and more. That's 2 Hornsey Harriers in 56 minutes. Shane Page. Well, Shane's probably run better than this. Sunday's probably not a good day for him to race. Mike Baggett there, 57.10, well under his Ferriby 10 time. So he'll be well pleased. The Bingley Harriers, Pocklington. Phil Dewberry now has made an excellent comeback, 57.04. And there's the... Quite pleased with that then, Rob?
Shag.
Cut. But Rob should be quite pleased with that. Just coming through now is Terry Davis, and he's one of the few runners who's run slower than the Ferriby. Maybe he's got a good reason for that. So this is what we would expect. A flat, fast course like this should produce better times than a hilly course through Swanland, and this has proved a case today. Ray Cox there, 58.32. I think that's also an improvement, if memory serves me right. Yeah, last year was hard to understand, really. Everybody ran slower. Peter Jarvis finishes now, and he's going to break 59 minutes. 58, 53 or 4 or thereabouts. So be well pleased. Steve Sharman, who we saw early in the race, he's just finishing now. He's going to be well under the hour as well, 59.10, East Isle Harriers. So this has proved to be quite a popular race, and the first lady is finishing now, Eleanor Adams. She's won it again, 59.32. That's just a mere jog for her, though. But for an ultra-distance runner, she's also a very fine shorter distance runner as well. Bob Mahoney there, I don't think he'll be too pleased with today. 59.45, he's still got a way to go to get back to his former fitness. So the hour's up now, and that's Vince. Vince just got through there, just broke the hour. I think he got it anyway. Pete Mason there. It's not so good when you're just outside the hour, when you could have just been inside. And so you can see that the class of this race has been it's well supported. It's very much a runner's race, and there's good quality times all the way through. Rod Train just finishes there. The second lady just finishing. And so as we're moving on to the 62 minutes area, that's the third lady to finish now, Valley Striders, number 2448. She should be quite pleased with that. She's under 62 minutes. As with the funneling arrangement is starting to be used because the runners are beginning to come in quite fast and furious. And we have to say it's been a very exciting race. won in a new course record of 50 minutes 12, Paul DeMarco of the Omega Racing Club, from Carl Nightingale, 10 seconds back in second place. And third place went to another Omega racer, Mark Poulter, with Jim Dingmore making a very fine return to form in 50 minutes 47.
You're the